Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Frame Podcast. This is episode 34. Unfortunately, it's just myself here today. Ben and Craig could not be with us, but we have got a great guest back on. Eli is on the podcast once again to talk about all things Mandalorian and Grogu. Eli, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Just had Comic-Con last weekend and yeah, it was a good time seeing some people, some interesting panels. But I'm excited to be talking about all things Mando and Grogu. So yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad you had a good time at con. I saw all the stuff. It's been a few days of FOMO for myself. Um, but I'm glad everyone had a great time. It looked really good. But I am excited to talk all things Mandalorian and Grogu as well. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to kick things off with a very short game. I've got 5 random Star Wars projects, and I'm going to simply get you to blind rank all 5. Okay,
Cool. Yeah,
we're going to
a
kick
lot of
things off.
blind rankings this weekend. But yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it.
Going to kick off firstly with the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Damn, that's harsh. I don't know what else is on the list, but I'm gonna put that at number 5.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, up next is Solo.
Okay, that's gonna be at 4.
4.
Yeah,
Andor.
Andor's easily number 1.
1. We've got Empire Strikes Back.
That's gonna go number 2.
2. And then Rise of Skywalker.
Can I redo this list? Yeah, no,
I
okay,
do
cool. We'll put
apologize.
it we'll put it at 3, but I would have had Rise of Skywalker at 5, and then everything just kind of shuffle ahead. But yeah, that's fine. I'm not mad at that.
I guess that's a small icebreaker that might have given away a little hint of your thoughts on Mandalorian and Grogu.
It's not accurate. I just thought you were gonna put like some other bangers on there. That's why I was preemptively
With
putting
a
it at
peak Star
5.
Wars.
Yeah, to save the list. But like I said, I'd put Rise of Skywalker at 5, and then um
Yeah.
move Solo and Mando up a bit.
Okay. What we usually tend to do here is I'll do a countdown from 3 to 1 and then give your rating out of 10 for the Mandalorian and Grogu, and then we'll go into our discussion from there.
Yeah,
Okay. You got your rating in your head?
I'm ready.
Okay. 3, 2, 1,
6 and
5.
a half.
Okay. A little bit higher than me,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
fairly similar. Do you want to kick us off with your initial thoughts?
Yeah, do you know what? Like when they announced this movie, I actually was a little bit of a little flex. I was in the room in Japan when they announced this movie, and I was so hyped. But then I didn't hear anything for a while. I'm just like, okay, cool, maybe the movie has been delayed a little bit. But then the more they started doing promotional material, the more I got excited. But it's one of those movies where like every single piece of media was really polarized. Like the Super Bowl thing really put me off watching the film. Then you had CinemaCon, and the trailer from CinemaCon was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like the best thing ever. This is possibly be the best thing ever." Then they had a TV spot that released from cinema after CinemaCon, and I was like, "Okay, maybe this isn't the best thing." So it's been a really like up and down journey. Didn't mean to do the 6-7 there, but it's been an up and down journey for this movie. So going in, I was very much excited, regardless of all the up and downness. Wanted this to be like the best thing ever. It's been 7 years since the last Star Wars movie, and I really wanted this to be like the best thing, and it ended up being fine. Like it's not, I'm not offended by it. I don't think it's bad by any means. I just felt a little bit underwhelmed because my expectations were like super through the roof. Like this is again the big return to Star Wars. But yeah, it wasn't a bad movie by any means necessary, but I just wasn't expecting it to be fine. I wanted it to be great.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair take. I definitely echo your thoughts on the up and down marketing campaign,
Mm,
um, especially that Super Bowl trailer, if you can call it that. I don't know what it
yeah,
was.
dude.
Um, that was rough. I didn't know if it was going to spin off into like a collab advert. You know, you get those adverts that sort of start with that, and then it'll go into like a product placement advert. It felt like one of
Yeah,
those.
it
But
did.
um, but that CinemaCon trailer was brilliant, like really good. I could only wish that the film resonated with me as much as that trailer did. I don't think, like you said, I don't think it's a necessarily bad film, but I
Yeah.
think they could have pushed things a little bit further.
There's a lot they could have
I
done to
mean,
like just make it worth more. Yeah.
I remember seeing your reaction after seeing the first 20 minutes. I think we were both agreed on that that first 20 minutes was pretty great. Um, Very enjoyable,
Hmm.
set up a solid premise. The opening 10 minutes, I don't think we know what planet that was on, but the
Uh,
snow planet.
yeah. There's
So they
some
said,
speculation that it's the planet where Grand Moff Tarkin's from and where the Imperials had that meeting they did in the Bad Batch, but it's to be confirmed. I don't think they've like fully said that yet.
yeah, we'll go with snow planet for today. But no, I thought all the stuff on there with like the AT-ATs and the introduction of like Mando in the hallways and the
Mhm.
Grogu fighting the little, what are those things called?
Or the little mouse droids.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I thought all of that sequence was really great, and then I felt a little bit let down because I think that allowed me to set my expectations a little bit higher for the film than perhaps they should have been. But no, I think a great opening. Um, yeah, what did you think about those initial 20 minutes? 'Cause I remember we both came out and we had a very similar reaction.
Yeah, that bro, the 20 minutes. I think it's literally like everything about them. Like it sets up this film to be like this cool, like it's giving back season one vibes, but also like
Hmm.
scaled up for like a cinema. It's forged for IMAX, so this obviously scaled things up a little bit. Like the 8080 fight was sick. They're setting up Mando to be this like super cool, mercenary like that's feared across the galaxy. I do feel like season three, because of how many Mandalorians we see in season three, it kind of like made it seem like, they're just regular people, but these are like feared bounty hunters. So I think it did a lot to like fix that and bring us back to like, yeah, this is the Mandalorian. Like you see this Beskar, you need to be afraid of him. It did a great job of doing that. It set up like their dynamic post season three. They're more like father and son instead of apprentice and Mandalorian. So yeah, it did well. Like the flights, the fight. What am I saying? The fighting, the flying as well. Seeing Zeb, seeing the different planets, like the textures, the CG, all the elements that make a film great. They really had that in those 20 minutes. And across the whole movie, I think I'd say like visually, like the
Hmm.
film looks really good. When we meet Embo for the first time, like that sequence as well, fantastic. The Grogu stuff on Nal Hutta was great. But yeah, it's just like the 20 minutes set this up to be something really, really fantastic, like really focused. And then it loses focus the minute you meet Rota the Hutt. It's like repeating dialogue so many times, things that don't really
Oh,
make
that was
narrative
rough.
sense being done. So yeah, it's just yeah,
Yeah.
20 minutes again. I'm gonna bang on about it. The 20 minutes were fantastic. Like I was so hyped. I was telling everybody, like, guys, I was right. You should definitely be booking your tickets now. And then yeah.
Yeah, they perhaps set us up for a bit of failure because I think I do agree. The minute you meet, you have that first scene with Rossa where he's actually speaking,
Mhm.
it starts to like let the film slip a little bit. Especially like you just mentioned there, the repeated dialogue is practically word for word. My dad was a bad man. I don't want to be
Yeah.
like my dad. I've had to
No,
fight for
literally.
this. And
Yeah.
then you have Mando arranges that person to pick him up, and he says to Grogu, he's like, "Look after your dad. He's a good one." And then
Hmm.
like the second to last scene of the film, look after your dad. He's a
Is
good
is a
one.
good one.
It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
you did this an hour ago.
Yeah.
You did the
Yeah.
last scene 5 minutes before the other one, but it's like, yeah, this is the guy that made Iron Man. Behind this, you've got the writer of the Clone Wars credited on this, and they
Mhm.
couldn't create enough unique dialogue for 2 hours. It's crazy. We like
But I
that's
also
not
feel
even
like
us
it's
wanting too much. That should be the given.
yeah. But it's also I think the fact that this is more of like a family movie. It's what, PG-13, right?
Hmm.
So you can see that they're appealing to an audience that isn't necessarily the same audience that would have wanted to see, like, I don't know, Force Awakens or Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, sorry. Like it's like definitely catering to like a more younger audience. So I can understand why they're repeating dialogue, why everything's like over explained, and also why some of the action in the later parts is less yeah, less violent, I'd say. I don't think it's as violent as what the show had. Uh, so yeah, that PG-13 rating I think is what has put this film down. I think it should have been like a 15 minimum, because then you get to fully explore like actual like the themes of the show, like um the whole bounty hunter-esque part of it, and not like catering to like the cute. As much as I loved seeing Grogu, like Grogu was the reason that this movie is a 6.5 for me. Like seeing him do all the cool stuff he was doing, very sporadically using the Force when it's convenient and not using it when he should be using the Force. Like whatever. I'm nitpicking here, but seeing Grogu on the screen is what really sold the film for me, and you can see that's what the marketing was doing. Like every bit of marketing is highlighting Grogu as the centerpiece. Um, so I understand why that dialogue was that shoddy. Um,
Yeah, it was a tiny bit rough at times. I think the dialogue, but
it was rough.
for the most part it worked. But yeah, the repeated and the over-explained was a little bit tedious. But it did feel like, I've seen this mentioned a lot, that people are saying that this has kind of been set up to be an entry point for Star Wars fans, or like entry point for new Star Wars fans, that you can watch this without watching any of the Skywalker saga. You
Hmm.
don't need to watch the Mandalorian show. It could shoe in a new audience or of like a younger generation into Star Wars. I think I do agree with that. It would be a great entry, especially if this is the first thing you watch and then you go off and watch the rest. Like you're gonna only be getting better content besides the acolyte. But
Damn.
we're not mentioning that today. Um, yeah, I just think they could have taken everything in this film and pushed it a little bit further, with the
Yeah.
dialogue
I
being the biggest of those problems.
Dialogue being and actually like the entire plot of it. Like I understand like, you know, Rota being a key point, and like the tying it back to the first Clone Wars movie, and how that obviously like opened up like the Star Wars universe to like, better narrative and better dialogue. But I feel like they should have honed in more on the what they've built up with Mando and Grogu at the end of season 3, and gone back to those themes. Like you have elements of like, bounty hunterness, and like, yeah, let's take his helmet off one more time, and then you can see that without the helmet he hasn't got the confidence, and the helmet comes back on. But why in the first place is the Hutt throwing a helmet of a Mandalorian, by the way? Like this is the Beskar alone like was worth the bounty of Grogu. So that is telling you the value of this metal, or this steel. For you to just throw that in the cave with him made no sense. It just felt like convenient stuff. So if they had avoided things like that, that actually followed a more clearer structure of what this mission was going to be, and not having just like plot conveniences, it definitely would have been a stronger film overall.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
agree. How did you feel about the convenience in the writing that you just got handed his ship back?
You know what? Like, by the time we see the Razor Crest, I had come to terms with the fact that this movie was pretty much, like you said, yeah, an entry point for Star Wars fans, but also like a massive product placement thing. Like the amount of Lego toys that are going to come out from that again are going to be are going to be, a lot. The Grogu plushies, the Mando gauntlets, it's pretty much, it felt like it's a product film. It's meant to sell toys. So seeing the Razor Crest, the very half explained reason as to how it got, rebuilt, and the fact that it's back, and yeah, it's whatever. I didn't really care anymore. But I did like the fact that he's got it back now, because now he's a father. Like the N1 doesn't really work as a bounty hunter. It doesn't really carry much cargo, and you can actually see they use it later on to carry what's the name, Rod of the Heart. So they use it well. So I wasn't mad that they just kind of like out of nowhere brought it back. But yeah, what do you
Yeah,
think?
I liked it. It just felt like we spoke a lot about it in the earlier seasons of how it's like a really rare ship, and it's just
Mhm.
like, Sigourney Weaver's got another one, so it's all good.
Yeah.
No, it just, yeah, it was a wasn't like, took it down half a star, but I was just a bit like, is that really the best explanation for this? Um, and very convenient that it came right at the start of the film. Like there was no build up to it. It would
Yes,
have made more
yes.
sense if that was maybe like his pay at the end of the film kind of thing, set up for the future. It's just like,
Yeah,
oh
and he's
no.
like he has to work to get it back because he really cares about like the well-being of his kid, and you know he's really trying to
Yeah,
get like a ship that's worth of a family. Yeah, I get that, but yeah,
yeah. It's
I actually kind of feel
a
like
very interesting position.
with how much ADR the film had, right? Like that could have been the way they wanted to do it in the beginning, and they just like reshuffled things to kind of make it move faster because it's a really fast-paced movie. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they like re-edited it to kind of move it to the front, and it was initially meant to be like the final piece uh, of it.
Yeah. What did you think about the action in this film? Because we get a fair few sequences. We have obviously the opener. You have the bar on Shikari. You have
Mm.
the Rotter versus Mando. You have Rotter and Mando versus all the creatures. They're from the Hollow Table, right?
Yeah, the hollow
It's
chess game.
okay. I thought it was. I was just
Yeah,
making sure I wasn't going crazy there. Um, we could just talk about them because I don't really want to talk about the final battle.
the final. You know what? The final battle actually wasn't that insane. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
the
it felt
first
long
the
for me.
every scene where you couldn't actually see that it's Pedro Pascal, I think was really well done. Like the stunt team behind it was doing a great job. Like you can see like this is a force of nature, but then I can see that thematically they wanted to show that, you know, Pedro Pascal is behind this movie, so they have to take off his helmet, show that he's in the movie, blah 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 blah. But because he
Yep.
wasn't, I don't think he trained a lot for the film. So like the scenes that he's in feel very like you go from, you know, running around a hut and like you're strangling the hut to like very stiff movements against this snake. And I understand the snake's more agile, but it didn't feel like this is a Mandalorian fighting. And then the minute he gets his helmet back on, you see how his movements are a bit more like quick, like he's back to himself.
Yep.
So that's the only scene in the film fight wise that I wasn't a fan of. But everything else, like when he fights that like that big guy in the one that looks like Master Sassy Tien in the prequel movies, when he fights that guy, like I was like, cool, this is sick. And he cuts off his horn, and
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, you're showing your dominance here. Like this is a Mandalorian at his peak. Like we're back to him being feared. And then, yeah, I don't know, just the final scene, final sequence happens. Very convenient how he survives and all that business. But
Mhm.
it does sound like I'm disliking the movie a lot more. But I genuinely, watching it, I did enjoy these sequences, bar the one scene with Pedro actually having his helmet off. That wasn't a good fight.
Yeah, I think it's like it is always a tricky thing with films. Like you can only really delve into the things you don't like because when you like something, you just go, "That was cool," or "I
Yeah, that
like
was
that."
cool.
I can't really be
Yeah, yeah,
like depicting everything about the scene that made it great. You just want to talk about what you would have wanted, kind of thing. Is really why we're literally
yeah,
sat here doing this. But no, I completely agree with what you said there about the movements. That's something I noticed as well, and I think my main gripe with a lot of the action was just convenience. A lot of things were convenient in this movie. Convenient placements, like
yeah.
even at the end when it's like the droids are smashing at the door, and he's like, "Oh, I thought I saw another way out." It's like, really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is that
Right.
what we're
Yeah,
doing?
it's
And it's
back
like,
this
oh,
way,
it's over
guys.
there. It's like we haven't even seen it. It's just over
Yeah.
there.
Because you now undercut the tension of like, yeah, this is the last thing. They're gonna like proper like obliterate this building, and you're in it. There's no way out. Like, how are you gonna
Yeah,
get out? And then, oh wait, actually, just behind me, guys.
at the back door, guys. It's all good.
Yeah.
We're saved. But
On that note though, on that note, do you remember when we first meet Embo? Like, great scene. I liked the how it was shot. I liked how it was filmed, right? But again, this whole thing of convenience. This is a Mandalorian, a bounty hunter, and he notices that something's off. There's someone that's, you know, watching him, right? Then he does all the stuff. He's like, Grogu, go back inside. Wait for me before you head out. And then Embo comes, flashbangs him to disable his like his visuals, right? And then he runs outside. And Manda doesn't think to like scan for traps because the way he got caught was so. I was like, "You're a Mandalorian." I was speaking to Ben about this, and he was like, "Yeah, this is nuts that a trained bounty hunter fell for the oldest trick in the book." Like,
Yeah, that like that scene though is probably my favorite visually.
It's good. It's so good. It's
Like
bro,
Ember's
the rain.
arrival, when yeah,
Yeah,
it's cold, and like
yeah, yeah.
the translation of his design to live action looks really great. Speaking of transitions to live action, Zeb felt wasted in this film for how much he was put in the marketing.
100%, 100%, 100%. I think
Like he
also
was
it's
a
just
good,
expensive.
yeah,
It's expensive to have him. He has that one cool fight scene when they capture forgot the guy's name, but the kingpin
is
looking
it
guy.
Janu?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
When they capture him, he has that one cool sequence and like yeah, I get it. It's expensive to like animate and mocap someone like that because even his actual movements felt a bit weird and janky, juxtaposed around the rest of the like that one scene when he finds the Razor Crest and like Zeb's like walking onto the Razor
Mhm.
Crest. I was like, oof, that
Yeah,
yeah. But then
I,
again,
th-
it's
I
I watched it
mean,
in IMAX, so I think it's more like in your face that you can notice these things. But
yeah,
overall, I think there was a great mix of like practical effects and like world building and like CG and like texturizing the whole like film. That scene on what's that planet? The planet where they find Roto on. Like every sequence around that.
Shikari.
Yeah, Jakari, yeah, Shikari, yes. Shikari like looked so good. It felt like, yeah, we're back. This is somewhat like it felt like
Yeah,
Batman, Gotham, an
yeah.
underworld city that has no like law on it. It was sick.
It was nice to see another city as well that wasn't just like, oh, back in Coruscant again or something like that. Like they actually
Coruscant,
went
not
through and was
Tatooine.
like, we can actually go to other places, which
Yeah, no
is a
Tatooine.
nice thing to do outside of like the Skywalker saga, is to actually visit new places. Also, we
Yeah,
got a great with that planet Ludwig Göransson's score, quite possibly the MVP of this film.
easily,
The
easily.
the Shikari thing, the sort of I guess amplified version of the Mandalorian theme for like the big screen. That was great. He's
Yeah,
just he always understands it perfectly, and there's no
he gets
wonder
the job
why
done every time. Right?
he's got so many Oscars.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got another Oscar this year because he's got obviously I don't think he's gonna get it for Mando, but with the Odyssey, could easily get it for that.
Yeah,
But
I think it's
The
a
Mando
two.
score is good.
Yeah, it's a two-way race for that score Oscar this year. It's going to be Ludwig for Odyssey, or it's going to
Uh,
be Hans
and
Zimmer
Hans
for
Zimmer.
Dune.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
we'll
reckon
see who
Hans might get it. Hans might. I don't see
just 'cause it's
Ludwig
the
getting a
last one.
third one in a row. Yeah, you know what I mean. It could, and it's gonna be good. It sounds good already from the chants we've heard. So
Oh yeah, the that's what peak sci-fi films look like. I wouldn't
wait,
quite put
what?
Mandalorian in that category.
I wouldn't actually disqualify it from that. I think the look of the Mando and Grogu movie is up there with the best of the sci-fi genre. It's just literally the story is a little bit lackluster that it kind of puts away from everything, but the movie looks really good. There's so many inspirations from like other movies that are great, like the Apocalypse Now reference, the Empire Strikes Back references. There's some Rogue One in there as well with some of the dogfights.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of good visuals in the film. So I wouldn't disqualify it from like the best looking sci-fi films, but it's just literally the plot not being as great.
Yeah. Back onto the plot. Obviously, we're kind of jumping around different bits of the film, but I think it's almost what the film felt like though, a little bit. It was like jumping around to
It
different
is. You
bits
just end up
and kind of
you end up in
going on
places
other bits.
you're like, oh,
Yeah. How did you feel about the whole like, oh, Lord Janu, he is the guy you're looking for kind of thing? And it was like, it was so obvious that it was just quite a poor reveal. Um,
underwhelming reveal. Underwhelming reveal. But I
yeah,
did like the fact that we'd seen him in the Shadow Council in the Mando season 3. There's
yeah,
like that scene when you see all of them. You see the guy in the beginning, and then you see Lord Janu. So it was cool to kind of tie it back. But then I was like, why are you just bringing back that guy from like it's meant to be this mysterious Imperial um
hmm
that's dealing on the black market. But then again, it's the Hutts that were kind of doing a two-way thing. So it makes sense that the reveal was underwhelming because it's going to be like a double whammy because the Huts just win from both fronts. Like they're feeding the Empire and then they're feeding the Republic.
Yeah,
So, but yeah,
yeah,
again,
just
like a decent plot
overwhelming.
point that just wasn't delivered or executed well. And
It's unfortunately one of those films that's like, with a little bit more care, could have been so great. And it's not even that we're asking for too much more, just a little
Mm,
bit more attention on the story. I mean, we did
yeah,
a little discussion the other day about how this film had like, I think it was 14 to 16 months in post production. I'm pretty sure it was in post production for all of last year.
yeah,
And it's crazy to me that at no point did they think, oh, maybe we could, reshoot something here and just make this flow a little bit nicer. Because I think for me, from when Embo turns up, everything feels very rushed. There's not a
yeah,
very linear narrative. It kind of just bounces all over the place. And then it's like we got a Grogu short film for 10 minutes, and it's like, oh, we're back to the plot. And not that the Grogu stuff was bad, I really liked it, but because it was just so cut into everything else, it really slowed down the pacing of the film for
yeah,
me.
yeah. It was so different as well from everything. Yeah, and there was again that
I
whole
just
bit
really
was
like that
super
scene, though.
convenient. Like I understand this
Oh,
is like
yeah.
a fantasy sci-fi movie where like anything can happen, but like you're telling me that that dog couldn't differentiate between fish and Grogu. It smelt Grogu already from beginning, you know?
Even
But
the way it's just like, he just happened upon this guy that made a thing for his friend.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, that guy is he was in this room. I understand he got bit by this. Give him this. He might be already dead, but it might revive him. Yeah.
Yeah. Shock, it revives him.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't even like it
Um
was a crazy reveal. You just wake up and he's gone.
yeah,
And then you
yeah.
just see him in the forest.
He did have a
So,
cold
yeah.
line though. That line he says about this is the way like the young care for the old. I was like, oh, this kind of cool. Like you've saved
I
that
really,
scene
yeah,
from.
that line was great. It was in the trailer as well, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't think I watched that trailer with it in.
There was one trailer and it was like, it's like the old protect the young and the young protect the old, that one, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
great line.
So, but I will say though, on that front, like Pedro Pascal's line delivery as Din is sick. Like
Yeah,
even the
yeah, yeah.
corny there was that corny bit where it's like I can bring you in cold or warm. I was like, oh, but it still made sense. Like it wasn't. I didn't feel as cringe as if like it just came out of nowhere. Like he delivered the line well. Like he was good.
Yeah.
Who else? Zeb was sick. I liked Zeb's lines. Um, Ross of the Heart felt like a waste of Jeremy Allen White. Like because he didn't sound
I
like him a
agree.
lot. So
No, it
they could
didn't
have
sound
just
good at
had.
all.
No, at points it did, but like I could have just could have had someone else do that and not spend too much money on an A-list
Yeah.
actor. But
Especially when you've got
now,
so many voice actors in the Star Wars franchise that do so many different voices. You've got,
mhm,
um, oh, what's his name? Is it D. Bradley
some
Baker?
yeah, D. Bradley Baker, Sam Witwer, all
Sam
these guys could
Witwer.
have just like
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
They lend their voices to so many characters, and so they so easily could have done one of those. And not to say it's like, oh, I don't want Jeremy Allen White in the movie, but it's like if that money could have gone back onto other areas of
yeah,
production, then perhaps it could have been a helpful step for them in the right direction.
for sure,
It's actually a
absolutely,
really frustrating conversation because I really wanted this to be great, and it's like it's not like we want to be here just talking negatives, but there is a lot of good that would have been great to amazing if
yeah.
these small things were just worked on.
Yeah, there's a lot
Just
of great stuff. I think also the thing that's really disappointing is the fact that this is like the first one since 2019. Like, there's a lot of pressure on the film naturally on itself, so
yeah,
it needed to just be revised a little bit more before they released it again. It's the same thing that's going to be with I think Doomsday's going to struggle with that a little bit because again, there's so much marketing around it being like a direct sequel to Endgame, and Endgame was obviously 2019. So if we're meant to be ignoring everything that came out from 2019 to now, there's a lot there's a lot at stake. And this is the same pressure that Mando had. Obviously, like we've had a lot of TV from Star Wars since, but for you to then be like, yo, you're gonna pay £30 for an IMAX ticket. it has to, it has to be deserving of that. And again,
Yeah.
visually, musically, fantastic. Absolutely, I would watch it again in IMAX. But the story just doesn't warrant me going again to see it.
Hmm.
Like it's just there was also like this
Yeah.
Collider. I think it was Collider. Was it Collider that had a report that this was meant to be originally a TV series? And thinking back on the film, you can actually see where like the episodes would have ended and like a new one began.
Yeah. Every time they go to a new planet, pretty much, we go to
Yeah,
around about 8, which is a Mandalorian season.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's just, so I don't as well like how unfortunately low the viewership numbers are on this so far. Like it's had one of the lowest Star Wars opening weekends from seeing people's videos and pictures online. There's like opening day screenings at 6 p.m. with like 10 people in. You've got, obviously, we've had a lovely heat wave over the weekend in the UK. First sign of sun for the year, so that's obviously taken a lot of people away from the cinemas. But before, people wouldn't care if the new Star Wars movie would have brought people out no matter what. And it's like, are they going about
yeah,
their marketing the wrong way? It's like they called the film Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu, but really the things that would have got people in the cinema would have been putting Pedro Pascal and Sigourney Weaver's names all over these posters, which they weren't doing. It's just faceless guy with green alien, and to people that haven't watched the show, they're not going to know. But Pedro Pascal's in
yeah,
everything. You whack that name on the poster, and you get people there. And it's like, does the Star Wars brand name sell tickets the way it used to? And that's why I don't think Starfighter will have that issue, because it's Ryan Gosling. People will go and watch Ryan Gosling, but because they weren't telling the audience who the big A-list guy is in this film, no one knew who it was or what to expect unless you've watched the show.
yeah. I do agree that I think the viewership has definitely been, especially in the UK, for example, it's been lower because of like the heat wave and obviously like events like Comic-Con. There's been so many concerts. There was the Arsenal parade. So there's all these things that are deterring people from going to the cinema, to the movies. But again, the marketing, like you've literally pointed out, has not been great. And this is beyond just having the A-listers on there. Like, there's been nothing about the previous trailers, bar the CinemaCon trailer, that is getting people like, oh, Stars is back, Stars is back. Like, there's a couple like
Yeah,
Forge for IMAX things here and there, and all the pop-ups and activations they've done. But like, again, these are all going to people that are already going to see the film, already love Star Wars. They're not branching it out to the people they want to reach out to, and it's made for people that aren't already fans of the film, you know?
yeah,
Well, it's designed to bring more fans into the franchise, so they've just like kind of double whammied themselves and gone back and forth in their marketing, and it's not really panned out.
yeah. No, I
So
do. I do completely agree. It's a shame as well because we're in such a great era of movie marketing. Like, I think a most recent one that comes to mind would be Project Hail Mary. I think
mhm,
they did great stuff with that. The most iconic one last year, despite how much I don't love the movie per se, but
big
Superman's
fan.
marketing campaign was insane.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
Daily Planet pop-ups, he was statues of Corin Sweat in every other major capital city on like the most iconic buildings. It was great. Um,
yeah. Supreme, F1,
yeah, Mighty Supreme, F1,
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
like, if you see an orange ping pong ball now for the rest of your life, the only thing you'll think of is Mighty Supreme.
yeah.
Even if it's not one that says Mighty Supreme on it, it's like it's become that synonymous. And this is an A24 fairly small budget film still, even though it's like their highest budgeted, but it's
Or
still in the grand
80
scheme of
mil.
things.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. No,
in
for
the
real.
in the grand scheme. Well, they tried to call them indie, but I think they're branching towards main studio now. I think slowly.
Yeah, A24 is definitely a big studio now. Like Backrooms, obviously again, not an
Oh
expensive
yeah,
movie, but like it's pretty big studio. Like it's gonna be a franchise, I'm pretty sure soon. So they're
yeah. We're
definitely
starting
veering
to do
towards
IPs.
that direction.
But yeah, they're working on like Elden Ring and stuff. So I guess
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
hard to differentiate them from the key players now. But no, it is just an underwhelming conversation because I'm sure you would agree that it would just be great to sit here and talk about how much we enjoy Star Wars and how much we love this film as an addition to the franchise. But we've had to just sit here and sort of be like, well, even better if
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
Bro,
a little bit gutted.
I remember watching Rogue. I think though this movie might have like some lot of revisionism on it because I remember watching Rogue One the first time, and I left that cinema and I was like so high. I was like, yeah, this is one of the best things ever. Same thing with Solo. I was like, maybe not best thing ever, but like I was really happy with what I got. And the reception in line was obviously like the opposite. And then later on, people are starting to appreciate it more.
Hmm.
But I think, yeah,
Yeah,
the biggest pain for me as someone that loves this franchise is that the people that are gonna see this for the first time and think, "Oh, is this what Star Wars is?" I don't feel like for the majority of the reactions are going to be as positive as I want them to be. Like a lot
yeah,
of directors that have done things because they were inspired by Star Wars. Like some of the shots, some of the way it was made, the filmmaking, the craft. And I understand this movie has gone back to that, but the
yeah,
product at the end isn't as it was back then. So it's not gonna be this cultural movement. Like Star Wars is so intrinsic in so much of modern pop culture. But this movie being the first one in 7 years is not going to do that or have that same effect. It's going to be pretty much forgettable. And the only reason people remember it is because of the Grogu plushies that everyone's going to be buying. You know what I mean? And everyone's going
yeah,
to attribute that to the show and not the film itself. So I just
yeah,
really wanted this to be like, yo, this is a movement. People dressing up in like their cosplays and bringing their lightsabers, bringing their helmets, bringing their tees. And a couple of people have done that, but not the general audience, and that's yeah, a little bit disappointing.
yeah. It is. It is. Yeah, it's just a big shame. Like this whole thing is just a big shame because it could have been great. And like we said, it wrapped in 2024. They've had plenty of time to plan how to deal with the marketing, how to get that general audience locked in. It's it is just a shame. There's not really much more I can add to it than just being like disappointed by it. Where would this rank roughly for you among other Star Wars films? Like, is it dead bottom, middle,
Okay, for using the is it 12 or 13 now that we have, it would be towards the
12? I
lower end.
mean,
Yeah, it'll be towards the lower end. Like I have it above all the sequel. No, I have it above. I have it above the last two sequel films. And I'm not trying to say that these movies are horrible, but it's just where it is.
mhm.
It's where it ranks. So yeah, it's bottom end of the Star Wars ranking.
Yeah, I think that's fairly similar for me. I think I put one more above it, but I can't below it. But I can't remember which one I put below it. It might have been Phantom Menace. I'm not big on that film.
Really, Phantom Menace is a great movie, man. What are you talking about?
I love the
Maybe
last 20 minutes, but the rest of it just doesn't do it for me.
fair, fair play. The last 20 minutes does hype up the rest of it, but I do like the whole narrative overall. I'd put it below. Hmm. For me, Attack of the Clones is bottom end. Attack of the Clones, The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, bottom end. Solo's bottom end, and it's above all of them. So yeah,
Yeah, I think I've got it in a similar place. It's I wish it could have been higher though.
yeah,
I just really do.
yeah. Because the show is
It's,
good. The show is so good, and
yeah,
you've scaled it up for IMAX. You've scaled it up for a cinema audience. Like that writing should have just carried on. And I understand that it's formulaic, sure, but the formula has worked for generations. Clint Eastwood movies have been banging for time, and Manda season one had that charm so easily. It wasn't a hard job to just scale it up for a film.
not at all.
Just a little bit more care, a little bit more care in like story elements because they cared about the visuals, they cared about the music, they cared about the look of
Yeah,
things, they cared about all like the random characters. Um, Actually, like there's like a little Easter egg I saw online today. You know that when they announced that Rota is gonna be in like the first time we see that Rota's in the gladiator match, right? From Martin Scorsese's character, it
yeah,
says Rota versus Glupshire in on the poster, but it's in Arabic. And I was like, this is like one of the coolest
that's
like
cool.
visual details ever put to screen, right? Because when he does fight a lot of random Glupshires, but I wish that love for that kind of stuff was put to the rest of the story, because that would have been genuinely a generational
Yeah,
Star Wars film.
yeah, because it showed that they can do it and will do it. So why only once? Like
Yeah,
you got 2.5 hours to sprinkle in a load of Easter eggs, and you've done it once. I'm sure more stuff will get. I like that they showed like Rotter from the Clone Wars as like the first thing that you see of him. Like
yeah,
I found that quite funny. Um, I think it's again like we mentioned at the start, like those first 20 minutes that we saw initially, they can they can do it because that's opener was great. So
opener
again,
was
it's
great.
like if you can do that there, if you can do the like the subtle reference that you just mentioned, that should be it throughout. There's no reason why there should be a dip in that all the way through. But it's unless there's like 9 different creative teams that have come in and worked on each aspect of the movie,
Mm,
which at times it felt like. But yeah,
yeah, there was
I think that's
definitely some
most
sort
my
of
thoughts.
there's definitely some sort of studio interference, because again, I think the first 20 minutes sets up this, like, obviously we see Din at the height of his, like, you know, his abilities, like his taking out people, is super slick with it, like he's doing no look shots, he's doing great stuff. And then, like, obviously this sets up Embo to then be a greater threat. So then when you do meet Embo, you're like, okay, there's levels to this, right? But it's after that, like, it just falls off, it falls flat. And then the Grogu stuff in the middle, cute, very endearing, loved it. It's just so different from what we had before. And then you go back to the formula you had with random, like, droids, and he's taking out droids in the forest, and it's like, ah, just give me balance it better. All they had to do was balance it better, and that would have been.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's enough of me with the even better ifs.
yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think that's probably the perfect place to leave it because I think we've gone through everything that we would want to be better. But also, like, I think we've said it quite a few times. It's like we don't want to leave this as a lasting impression of like, oh, we didn't like this film. There is
Yes.
stuff in here that we enjoyed. There are bits that are fun. We mentioned the Grogu sequence quite a lot, but while hurting the pacing, it's not unenjoyable. It's not something
So
to put
fun.
anyone to sleep.
Yeah,
There is
it's
still
so
fun to
fun.
be had with the film, but there is so much attempts, but also I feel like a false promise from the start that this could have been something great, and that's why we just feel let down overall.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
we covered pretty much everything quite well. You got any
for
other
sure.
final thoughts?
I think I just want to ask what your expectations are for Star Wars Starfighter, because again, though this movie is on brand a Star Wars movie from a production perspective, it felt very different from, like, what Star Wars actually is, which is again a good thing. I do think it's a very good thing to move away from the Skywalker stuff, the Jedi stuff. I like that
Hmm.
Star Wars is a massive, expansive universe, and there's a lot of genres you can explore through it. Like, there's that little
Yep.
gag of the horror from that, like, I think it was like a video game where, like, the stormtroopers are zombies, right? There's so much genres they could do,
Yep.
and I like that this movie was different. But with that in mind, what are your expectations for Star Wars Starfighter as a fan of the franchise, and how different everything can be within the same universe?
It excites me that we're getting another director tackling Star Wars. Obviously, it's one that comes with not controversy, but I guess he has his lovers and his haters, especially after like Deadpool and Wolverine, things like Free
Stranger
Guy.
Things,
There's people that
yeah,
yeah, Stranger Things. There's people that love his work. There's people that don't. But again, that's got to be for them. Not with my expectations for the film, but they got to be clever with their marketing, especially with the people that do like this guy. General audience really like this guy, so it's like they can really make a big statement with this film if they do it properly. Ryan Gosling is obviously like the guy at the moment. He's just done Project Hail Mary, one of the most successful original scripts in the last few years. Obviously, he's
adapted,
probably
yeah.
still reading off the hype of Barbie,
Mm,
so he's going to bring in numbers. But in terms of the actual film itself, I think the cast is great. Like I think it's for the people that are currently working now. I think it's a really really solid cast. I'm expecting a I hope good to decent Star Wars film, but I would love for it to be amazing. I think Star Wars' recent track record isn't great.
Mm.
and I don't want to put myself in a position like this film where I
Wait,
set myself up for
isn't
failure again.
great. Isn't great. We had Andor and more back to back. What else do we have in the middle?
I haven't
Yeah, that
seen
was
Maul
it.
yet.
Oh my gosh, you need to get
I haven't
into
seen
that,
Maul
bro.
yet.
So good.
But Andor was great. But besides Andor, that's like the diamond in the rough right now.
Fair play. Fair play.
It's been a tough couple of years. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for the future of Star Wars, and I like that the future is maybe looking at different directors to give their take on Star Wars. Because, like you said, it is an open franchise with different genres. People can give their say, their opinion, their style, and that's what we need to keep the universe new and fresh, and to keep
Yeah.
the audience coming back. What's your expectations for Starfighter? Is there like a final point?
I I like the fact that it looks like a different attempt to it. Like it doesn't look like the same stuff we've been seeing on and on again. Obviously, the thing I like, I did in my Mando review, the thing I like about Star Wars most is like seeing this hyperspace lanes, seeing the creatures, seeing the different worlds, seeing the different planets. So if it does give me that, like explore new planets I haven't seen before, give me a reference to a character every now and again. Like I'm not trying to have a whole film full of like cameos, but like Mando and Grogu did it very, very tastefully. Like, give me a random like bam, there, give me this guy here. And then give me a good story. Something that I can actually, you know, sink into and just like enjoy and
Mhm.
follow through narratively and not be distracted by the fact that it's super convenient and because it's written for like second screen watchers. I want something where like the subtext is very prominent and I'm not just hearing a guy say how bad like how much he wants to stray away from his father's legacy and actually show me that through the way the story is kind of unfolding. Cast looks great. The director is again, I like him. I think I like Sean Levy. Bar
Yeah.
Wolverine. I think he's really good showing and balancing levity, which I think is a thing Star Wars really relies on a lot. Like the funny scenes, like oh who shot first, or the every single time Grogu says a word. I think it'd be good at balancing that kind of thing. I just hope he doesn't go too far into the comedy and like take away from the story. I think that would be kind of nice. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like again, let's subtle flex. I was in the room when they announced it, and I was super, super surprised. I was like, "What? Ryan Gosling?" So when the marketing starts rolling out, I will be making a lot of videos about it.
It's an exciting one. So hopefully next year is a slightly more positive discussion around a Star Wars film. We can hope.
For sure, for sure. One can hope.
I think we'll leave it there for today. Thank you, Eli, for coming on and talking about all things Mandalorian, Star Wars. We actually, for once, I feel like this is the best we've done at staying on topic for a whole episode. We didn't go down many
No,
tangents at all, which is great.
we're straight into
I'm
Marvel a little bit, but we got back onto
yeah,
track. Oh yeah, that was good.
I'm
Thank you
normally
for having me.
notorious for that. But of course, always welcome. Always a great chat with yourself. But no, thank you all for listening and watching. We'll see you in the next episode next week. And yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Bye bye.